have a question. We have questions.
Yes,
I
you
see-
have
I see
one.
them.
We have one from Lee Lamp.
Go ahead, Lee.
So my question, we jumped past that whole prospect of the requirement to maintain a record. My BEC has expressed concern, as have I, about the need to maintain a record and the privacy and the security of that record. These are personal medical decisions that an individual makes. If we want to, mandate that they need to show proof of vaccination to come into an event, that's fine. But to mandate that we track and record and log that information is where the problem really stems for many of our folks. And I know you say that it's because we might need to see this record should something happen. Well, if you need to see something to make sure something happens, any roster that I've filled out and said that they have isn't going to hold up in a court of law. They're going to want to see the actual document that the individual is in question about. That any record that I make up saying that I saw something is, in my opinion, worthless as the paper it's written on. What's important is the physical card or the phone image of the physical card. And the requirement for the branch to maintain a record of all members that have shown me their stuff is where I draw the line.
Okay, well, initially, when we were discussing this matter, we said, well, you've got to maintain a photocopy of the record. And we thought, well, first of all, that's going to be burdensome because how do you make a copy of a record, especially if it's on a phone? We're going to have to take a photo of everybody's record. So we said, well, it'll be less onerous if we just require the branches to say they've seen the record and they've recorded it. And so they don't have to this is largely for convenience. You don't have to look at the card at every meeting. So you know that somebody has seen the record. So there's kind of a compromise, said, okay, we've seen the record, we've recorded it. We don't have to bother them again to bring their card to the meeting or show their phone, have, huge lines of everybody waiting in line and then saying, oops, left my card at home. So that's why this is really for convenience. And it's not so, for privacy that somebody's been vaccinated. Frankly, they don't get to come to a luncheon unless they're vaccinated. So everybody looks around the room and they see everybody here has been vaccinated or they wouldn't be here. So it's not like you're protecting some kind of privacy. There's no HIPAA issue. And my research revealed there's no other issue protecting privacy. You go to a ball game that requires everybody to be vaccinated. You look around, you see thousands of people who are vaccinated or they wouldn't be there. So really, that's a non-issue.
Record of that when you walk in the gate at an event. You're showing the card and they're not keeping a record of it. You're telling me that it's for a convenience issue. Well, damn the convenience. I have members who will not attend if they've got to show something that's going to be recorded.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but they won't get to go to the event. Being recorded is strictly for convenience. Like I say, it was a compromise. The original requirement was that they would actually have to have their card, copied. So that's the protocol. And
I disagree with the decision to mandate a roster that shows a listing of those vaccinated.
Right. If you don't have a record, a claim arises, you can't show that you required it to be shown. It's as simple as that. It's for legal purposes, and it's unreasonable to request that there be no record. That's the decision.
Alan, can I just
let me
break in?
recognize Stan Bishop, who's been patiently waiting. Stan, you'll unmute yourself.
I actually have two questions.
Sure.
One, I see on the chat that someone also asked if the third shot is made mandatory. Do we need to have people show us that they got their third shot before they can attend?
Well, right now it's limited to 2 shots. It actually mentions that because there was no third shot then. You know, it's possible that frankly, who knows what the science is right now. Whatever the CDC recommends, we'll be following, but it would require a change to the protocol to require a third shot.
And also, I have members who are kind of hesitant on giving their vaccination report. I understand that we do not need to copy their vaccination record, just a waiver form. And how long are we expecting this protocol to stay in effect?
Wow, I wish I knew the answer to that one. I guess as long as we got COVID, and my feeling, and probably a lot of the scientists, is that COVID's can be around for the rest of our lives. And particularly in our age group, as those statistics, you know, we're hundreds of times more vulnerable than younger people to death. So I think that probably my feeling is we'll all probably be getting booster shots annually for the rest of our lives, just like flu shots. I hope that's not true, but this is a nasty, nasty virus. You know, kills people, makes them really sick, and until the entire world gets vaccinated, I think we're going to have this problem, particularly for older people. I wish it were otherwise.
Let me recognize Richard Provost, who's been also patiently waiting. Richard, you'll unmute yourself.
Yeah, once a scanned copy of the waiver has been scanned in, do we need to keep the original, or can we just, can we throw away the original? The scanned copy is a JPEG file.
Wait a minute. You mean of the record showing that they've produced a card?
Yes, they've shown they produced the card, they've signed the waiver, and then a scanned copy was put into the system for a particular branch, and then it is on a flash drive so nobody can get to it. And can we destroy the original?
You're talking about the waiver now?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Well, the protocol says the branch shall maintain the originals for inspection. So I think there's something in California called the best evidence rule, and it definitely prefers originals to copies. I mean, that's a valid concern, and we'll consider that. But how many members do you have? It seems like it's not a burden to maintain the originals of the documents if possible.
Thank you.
Gary Boonis, do you have a question, sir?
Yeah. One of the popular activities in our group is what we call dining with friends, which involves couples, the partners with a SUR member going to a restaurant, ordering from the menu. And one of the problems we've interpreted is that we have to have everybody else in the restaurant documented as either being vaccinated and, importantly, having signed a waiver. And the waiver's being signed by any speaker we might have at a indoor meeting. They'd also have to sign a waiver. Right? How do we handle situations like that? Do we just not go to a restaurant as a group?
Well, I mean, the protocol requires all what they call attendees to, sign the waiver and show proof of vaccination. And for indoor activities, and that would include this dining with friends event, which sounds like a very good event, frankly. Is that turning out to be an impediment to getting the spouses and other guests to show proof of vaccination and also it's not everybody in the room. It's just the SIR group. Of course, if the room is taken over by the SIR group, that would apply to everybody.
Earlier, I inquired, and the advice I got, and I can't remember who gave it, but within SIRS, I was led to believe that even the waiters and such had to sign a waiver. People like that in the restaurant. Other diners.
Yeah. Actually, that rumor's going around that the waiters have to sign the waivers. That's in fact not true, and it's something we've discussed, and it's something that you can require if you want, but it's not required by the current protocol. And it seems like the most responsible, restaurants and caterers are requiring our staff to be vaccinated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a follow-up question about presenters. Once we get going again in indoor meetings, which we haven't fired up on our branch yet, but we expect to have speakers. I understand they have to sign a waiver. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to inhibit our ability to get it. And we've lost, or will be losing, about over 10% of our members who have said they will not sign a waiver at all.
Are they vaccinated?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, the two seem to go hand in hand, and frankly, we can't take the risk of unvaccinated people indoors. And, there's no excuse for not being vaccinated. The Pfizer has been approved. That seemed to be, from the people I know who are unvaccinated, that seemed to be the biggest objection, was that the vaccines hadn't received final approval. Now they have, so there's no excuse.
Well, we live in a senior community, and they've brought in vaccination right to our central area. So virtually all, I think we have over 95% within there. So I think these guys have been vaccinated, but on principle alone, they don't want to sign any waiver.
Yeah, well,
10%. So
it protects her. It was something that, came up as sort of an extra protection. It doesn't protect us against, as I mentioned earlier, intentional acts, if that gives them any, or even gross negligence under California law. But the idea is that because we don't have insurance, we need to have as much protection as we can, and this is an extra level of protection.
Okay, well, you've answered my question. I just want to finalize that it is affecting our membership.
The really interesting thing is I found there were more objections to the vaccination requirement than there were to the waiver. So go figure.